How's it going? My name's Andre Bernier. I'm a Los Angeles-based keyboardist and bass player, and today I want to talk about a sort of failed experiment I've been engaged in for the past 2 years, and that is turning a Fender Player Precision P bass into a BEAD bass. So let's get into it. So this is the bass guitar. I wanted something more modern. I think like everybody else, I'm gonna make a broad statement here. I thought the first bass and Strat I had to buy had to be sunburst. And so I've had these very gorgeous, but very old-fashioned looking rosewood neck sunburst bass and Strat combo forever, and I've been looking to modernize. And so the way that I thought I'd modernize is get a white maple neck player precision bass that I could gig to death and not worry about. And you know, as a goal to make it the ultimate gigging instrument, I thought, why don't I try stringing it in a bead configuration, which is something I'm definitely not qualified to set up on my own. And so right before I left Nashville in about 2022, I went to Corner Music, amazing shop in Nashville if you haven't been, and they do amazing setups there as well. And I told them, I want to buy that white P bass on the wall, but I want you guys to set it up in a bead configuration. Can you guys do that? And they said yes. And so as far as I know, the only real modification that needed to be done was filing the nut right here. So they had to file that a little bit, but beyond that, it's just setting the neck and setting the action. As you can see, it's very, very nice neck and action and all that. Wonderful job. I cannot recommend Corner Music enough. I still love that shop. When I go back to Nashville, I will be going. They're unbelievable and really kind people as well. So this bass is lovely, but I'm not so sure that the bead bass experiment has worked out the way that I wanted it to. And when I was originally looking to get this done, I was looking for videos on YouTube of people playing P basses, especially Player Series P basses, in bead tuning, and I couldn't find any. So I thought today we'd do a comprehensive demo. I am going to be playing some stuff along the track, showing you a different tones and volumes. I should say I have round wound strings on here. I'm not sure which they are. They might be GHS boomers or they might be roto sounds. Either way, they're pretty bright stainless steel round wound strings. Definitely not flat wounds. And these do lean on the newer side, unfortunately, because I'm not a fan of that tone. But I want you to know, this is not running through any pedals. It is running through my pedal board, but all the pedals are off. I'll show you what it's like with them on at some point too. I'm gonna play along to a little drum loop, a Sterloid drum loop, the classic pack from Splice from Aaron Sterling, another Nashville cat. Let's just get into it. I'll play a little bit on it and then talk about what I like about it and what I don't. So here it is, volume at full, tone at full, everything's at full. So as you can hear, the strings are very new on this, and this is with tone at full. I'm rarely using it with tone at full these days. You know, I played a church gig on a beach for about 2 years, and those strings slowly got older and older and older. Those were Roto Sounds 5-string pack that I just took off the G string on. And slowly as those died, I did start playing this bass all the way open, but you know, player precisions have this sort of fizziness that I'm not keen on, and combined with stainless steel, it really accentuates it. Let's try this tone at about 75%. This is about where I tend to use it. Let me roll the tone all the way back so you can hear how that sounds. Here's the tone totally off. You know, I think that's kind of the best configuration for it in a weird way. Like the tone totally rolled off makes it the most what it's supposed to be. But I find with the tone rolled on, you know, you want to be able to play your bass with the tone rolled on because it's a very honest portrayal of what you're getting with that instrument. And a really good instrument should be able to be played wide open. It's like opening up a cutoff filter on a synthesizer. Like you want to be able to hear the block of tone the way that it was made. And I just don't think that the lowest string on this bead bass sounds correct. Here's the E string. Keep in mind, it's played over the A pole pickup. That sounds great. Here's the A string. It's played over the D pole pickup. Sounds great. And here's the D string over the G pole pickup. But here's that B string over the E pole pickup. Let me go to C. Do you hear what I mean? Keep in mind, there's no processing. I don't have any compression or anything on. It's muted, and it doesn't sing properly for what it is. And I thought at first that I just wasn't using speakers that were properly representing the low end. But then I got an Ampeg Rocket Bass 115 200 watt amp, and a 15-inch speaker should absolutely represent a low B string properly. And it still felt muddy and woofy and weird and not defined. I think that's the thing, it's not defined. And maybe P basses aren't overly known for being well defined, but it was at this point that I started to realize that, okay, maybe this configuration actually isn't what I'm looking for. What I need might be a dedicated 5-string, and that's what led me to getting this 5-string jazz bass that I have over here. And I want to show you the difference very briefly. I'll play kind of the same bass line twice. I'm playing a lot in D major right now. I'll play in B flat for a little bit. I find B flat is a really good representation of 5-string as well, because you have that low E flat and you have that low C in case you need to play the 2 chord. So I'll play in B flat on both of these basses, and you can hear what I mean. It's gonna be with tone all the way wide open. So granted, there's nickel wound strings on this jazz bass, and that is definitely making it a little more plunky, a little more muted. Obviously, these strings are dead as hell too. But you can hear how even. Everything sounds even. You know what I mean? That's just not something I get from that Olympic white bead bass. So is the solution to go out and buy a, $1,500 5-string? No, this thing weighs 10.2 pounds and has been murder on my back. But I would caution you this. I do think a precision bass might not be the right pickup combination for bead tuning. If you have an extra bass lying around, I think it's worth a shot, especially if you just do studio stuff. I can clean this thing up any day of the week and make it sound right for studio recording, especially if I use this little guy. You know what this is? Have you ever seen this? I'm gonna do a whole video on this. Can I block my eye line and have it focus? No, I can't. Get out of here with this AI autofocus. The autofocus is too good. It's a Nordy mute. Oh, there we go. This thing. I don't know if you've ever seen this. This is the 19mm, which fits perfectly on the P bass. It won't fit on this. It's a 5-string. I have one in the mail, but this fits on the P bass. Let me show you what that sounds like. You know what I mean? And I think that muted, thumpy feeling kind of takes away from some of that metallic and flubby low end that you get from that B string, because now they're all muted, although there is still a difference. That's more muted than that. That sings more. And on the jazz bass, it's just even, man. Again, let's run that same scale that I did on the jazz bass. I did a B flat scale. So, you know? It's different. It's different. Let me run it through some pedals. And after this, I'm gonna get to playing with some drums, and we're gonna do more scientific examples, I guess you'd call it. So right now I'm gonna run it through a VT bass DI, as well as the classic Cali 76 bass compressor. I'm gonna show you the settings. The settings are as follows, as you see them right here. So do with that what you will. I have sort of adjusted it for the gain on this bass. I found the Precision Player bass runs hotter than my American Pro jazz bass. I don't know why. I don't know what the theory is on that. You're a little bit of, maybe too much of an edge on this, but I'm rolled pretty far down on the tone. Let's open it wide open on this, but again, at this point you're hearing more SVT than you are hearing the bass itself. Maybe you're wondering how this sounds with a pick though. So here we go, we got the, can I block my face with it? Yes, it's the Dunlop 1.5, you know it, you love it. This is wide open with the SVT sim going. Five string right here. It sounds really good on these top 3 strings. Maybe not really good. It sounds good on these top 3 strings. This, you could see me make a face. You could see me make a face when I played that before. It doesn't sound so good. It just doesn't. It's not really, it gets worse as you go up the neck too. It gets worse as you go up the neck. These pickups are just not tuned for a B string. And you could say to me, Andre, of course they're not. That's not how they sold this. You're right. I still wish somebody would make a pair of bead pickups for a 4-string bass. You would print money. Aguilar, I'm looking at you. Or EMG even. Like, where are these like metal shredder guys? Like, there must be a market for this. And by the way, I don't really want a metal sounding pickup. I certainly don't want an active pickup. But I do want some kind of alternative to a stock pickup for bead tuning, because this is a good idea. Less weight, if you don't need that top string, you're playing, you know, I use this on a CCM gig. Why the hell would I need the top string on a CCM gig 99% of the time? You know, we're never slapping, we're never doing anything that requires that. A wedding gig, you need more shit, and that's part of the reason I got the 5-string. You need that, you know, the Dua Lipa stuff. This is a tubby little thing, but for tubby little genres, you know, your modern countries, this can work out. This can work out just fine. So this thing is going to either get sold in its current iteration, or it's going to be converted back to a normal 4-string, and I'm gonna beat it to death on the road. This one is not quite doing it for me anymore. Let's get into the more scientific part of this, which I don't know how this is gonna work, but I'm gonna put on a beat, and then I'm going to play with different tones, different styles. I'm gonna show it to you with this guy, Nordy Mute on and off. I'm gonna show you with the pick, all of it. So we're gonna do that now. Okay, so what was the point of all of this, right? I said this is sort of my failed experiment. Why am I even showing this to you? Well, number one, I use YouTube as a resource when I'm trying to think of what I want to do with my gear, my rig, my instruments, my gigging, and there was a vacuum of information on bead basses, and I'm starting to understand a little bit why people don't turn precision basses into bead basses so often. I would give this a go with a jazz bass if you were gonna try it on anything, he said, not having learned his lesson in the first place of using 4-string for 5-string activities. First of all, I would look at buying a dedicated 5. I just would. You know, buy a dedicated 5. Squires are great. That's what I started on. I started on a 5-string P-bass Squire that my buddy had, and I used it more than my American Precision 4-string P-bass when I was recording because I wanted that 5th string. So that's what originally set me down this rabbit hole of wondering if I could turn a 4-string into a 5-string. I would recommend looking at Sire. I would recommend looking at Fender, Squire stuff. But beyond that, if you are going to convert a bass into a 4-string, 5-string, look at a J bass. Look at a jazz bass. I think the scooped nature, the less complicated mid-range, and the more punchy defining characteristic of that type of bass lends itself better to that low B string than the P bass does, in my humble opinion. And again, that's for you to do and find out. I'm sure different P basses sound different for this purpose too. I want to reiterate, some manufacturer has to make a 4-string, 5-string pickup, man. Because I'll buy it. I won't mod it in myself. I don't know how to do that shit even a little bit. But somebody does. Somebody near me knows how to do it. I'm currently having my Stratocaster set up by the grumpiest old man in history, and I'm sure that means that's gonna be the best set up Stratocaster I've ever played in my entire life. I'll give that guy a bead bass pickup and be like, here you go, sir. If you don't mind figuring this out, I'll pay handsomely. Yeah, I want it. I want it. Because this thing's like 8 pounds, and this 5-string jazz bass is 10.2. Do you see this ludicrous strap I have on this? This neoprene monstrosity? It's comedically big. Doesn't matter. That's not what this video is about. This video is about the bead bass. I hope this was useful. You probably won't be seeing too much of this on the channel. Unless, of course, I decide to try to set this up myself and absolutely don't botch it, in which case, you know, maybe put some nickels on it and it gets a new life. Or it gets sold. Either way, Andre Bernier Music, Instagram and YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Shout out to Tyler Spicer, because he's the dude that got me into doing YouTube in the first place. He didn't tell me to do it or anything. I like his bass videos. And even though I'm mostly a keyboard channel, he's inspired a lot of this kind of content and production. And so, yeah, shout out Tyler Spicer. Go check out his channel. So until next time, I'm Andre Bernier. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.